All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about lesson 3.1, which is really from CED part 2, or CED 2. This is the first part of CED 2. Let's talk about the big ideas from this. When we're dealing with scatter plots, we're really plotting two different variables against one another, or two different variables as the x and y components. And the first takeaway is going to be this, that our explanatory variable is what's going to be used to predict. And our response variable is our outcome. And the best way that I know to think about this would be to say that our response variable responds to our explanatory variable. And so that brings us to our next piece here, which is how do we plot these things and make our scatter plot. So if I draw myself a little tiny scatter plot here, on the side over here is going to be our response. We want to put that response up that y-axis. And on the bottom here is going to be our explanatory. And what we'll have is, as we, plot these things, they're going to have some sort of relationship. And really, that's the part in stats that we're most concerned about. And so what we say is, how do you describe this scatter plot? The framework that we're going to use for this is called DUFS, D-U-F-S. DUFS stands for direction. And is it a positive or negative direction? So in this case, this would be a positive direction. As the explanatory increases, so does the response. We'll be looking for unusual features. So we'll be looking for unusual features. For example, is there some sort of curve to it? Does it have any values that are noteworthy? The form, and what we want to know there is it linear or nonlinear. So in this case, you see how the dots go up and to the left, the dots go up and to the right. So this would be a linear form. And S is the strength. And in this we want to use like ly words, like extremely, not very, slightly, ly words to describe that strength. When we move down to this check your understanding, what I'd love for you to do is I'd love for you to pause here, pause the video, try this example on your own. And as you do this example on your own, you can check back in and unpause the video and you'll see my explanation of it. Here's the prompt. Is there a relationship between the amount of sugar in grams and the number of calories in movie theater candy? Here are the data from a sample of 12 types of candy. So you see, as we go down here, we've got our types of candy, and we've got our sugar, and we've got our calories. So what are we going to do? Identify the explanatory and the response variables. Well, what are we measuring in this? We're trying to figure out is there a relationship between the amount of sugar and the calories. And so our explanatory is sugar. And the reason why is that if there is this correlation, what we'd say is the amount of sugar explains the calories. So calories is the response variable. A way to think about that would be the amount of calories is in response to the amount of sugar that's in there. If I go to plot this, remembering my response variable is going to go up this y-axis. So here's my calories. Down here is my sugar in grams. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I didn't put nearly enough in here. Let me move this. Move this down this way. Extend this out. $100, $110, $120, $130, $140, $150. Okay, let's do a little bit of plotting here. So around 50, I've got a couple of dots here and one above. And I have this ahead of time, so I have an advantage here. Really what I'm concerned with is not necessarily can you plot, but is your ability to interpret. Around 90, I've got one here, and 90, and 110, and then one out here at 140, about up this way. So then up the side here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So up the side here, I've got the number of calories. So there's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. Okay, so that, and this is my general plot. Again, I know you know how to plot these, and so this isn't necessarily a video about how to do a scatter plot. And so I just want to look at our general trend here. And I want to erase that because I need to be more clear about what that is. Okay, so what do we see here? The question, what do we see here with scatter plots, is this Duff's mentality. What is the direction? Is it positive or negative? Are there any unusual features? What is the form? Is it linear or not? What is the strength? And so what general direction are they going? So if we kind of connect our dots here, they're kind of going up and to the right. See that? So they're kind of going up and to the right. Are they going in a crazy strong upwardly right direction? I don't know. But they're going generally up and to the right. So what do we say about this? Over in the margin, I'm going to do Duff's. So direction, unusual, form, strength. Just as a reminder to myself. So what am I going to say? Well, they go generally up and to the right. So the scatter plot shows a positive, fairly strong, linear relationship between sugar in grams and calories. So that covers direction, strength, form, and now we need to cover unusual features. And I kind of point to this one right here, right? It's way out there, and that's peanut M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms, 79 grams of sugar, 790 calories. So mine should even be a little bit higher there. But what we'd say about that is there is a possible. Oh, no, sorry, it's not that one. So this is a potential one. This is a potential one. So what's noteworthy about this? What should we comment on? So you want to look at in the pattern. And so you'll notice my arrow goes this way, right? This one is in the pattern, meaning it's up and to the right. This one is far above the pattern, meaning it's still moving in that direction, but it's way above where the general trend of the arrow would be. And that's what we want to comment on. So I identified two possible ones that are sort of far away from, but I want to look at the one that doesn't necessarily fall in with the pattern. So I would say this, there is a possible outlier with peanut M&Ms at 79,790. Okay, and that's this one up here. I didn't commit to it. I mean, notice I said, fairly strong. That doesn't say it's a perfect one. And I also said there's a potential outlier. So I didn't commit to anything, but I pointed out these features of this distribution using my Duff's analysis. And there's my F for my unusual features. Potential outlier is my F. So that is the basics of displaying relationships in scatterplots, but really not just putting together the scatterplot, which I think you're going to be pretty good at, but it's really doing the analysis of what is important about these scatterplots. Thanks for